Welcome back to another episode of Picking Up the Pixels RPG Love. I'm your host, Boston. Joining me as always is Musim.
Hello.
And Mina.
Hi.
Let's just dive right into the action with Musim. What have you been playing this past month?
So I've actually got to play a little bit of games this month, which was nice.
All right.
Gosh, I needed this in my life. So I'll start out with the newest thing I've been playing, which is Stygian, Reign of the Old Ones. This is a project I backed on Kickstarter for $15. It is by a team somewhere in Europe. I forget where. Like, they're Norwegian or Swedish or something. I don't know. Somewhere up there.
Some death metal region.
Yeah. They had very creative Kickstarter videos where, you know, it would show, like, the whole staff being taken over by Cthulhu stuff.
Oh, wow.
But anyway, so that released, like, in, I think, a week from last Friday. This is a... like, I didn't know if this game was going to work out. And I still don't, honestly. But I like the idea of the game and what it's going for, even if, like, some of the execution could use a little bit more polish. The basis of it is you are in a turn-based RPG that's also kind of a point-and-click adventure. You're in the town of Arkham, which has experienced the Black Day, which truthfully, I know nothing about Cthulhu lore. I assume a lot of this is aped from that. I have no idea. But basically what it means is this whole town of Arkham, this fictional town of Arkham, Massachusetts, was teleported to Cthulhu land, I guess, world, dimension.
Oh, wow.
So you're just in this town surrounded by monsters. On top of that, the mob was visiting the town that day, got transported. So now the mob has taken over the town.
Is it like a modern day town or is it
1920s?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's like it starts out and all the artwork is very it feels like very England London-esque artwork to me, so I named my guy something like Nathaniel Beauregard, or, you know, like a really English name. Moon can tell me I'm being
he's not like
later.
Bob Smith though.
Yeah. The character creator was kind of neat. Like, they didn't necessarily give you enough information about some of the stats and things that would happen, but it was still kind of cool in that, like, you picked whether you were young, middle-aged, or old, and that would affect your physical stats. Like, so if you chose young, you would get a bonus to, I think, like, your strength and speed or something, but you'd get, like, a negative to your wisdom. And if you chose old, then you'd get, like, negatives to your physicals and positives to your wisdom or something like that.
That's cool.
And then moving forward, you chose a class, which they had like 5 or 6 of them, and I chose Inspector. They gave you like a little bit of a backstory, but like once you choose a class, they have like 3 variations of the class you can choose that will, have an impact on the stats. So like, I should have written all of this down to tell you guys, but the one I wound up choosing was, I think it was like Occult Investigator, which basically meant at some point I had seen some occult stuff, and it gave me a bonus point to Occult, which I didn't know it would do at the time, and it gave me plus 50 to Rage, I think that's what it's called, which I also didn't know what it did at the time. And honestly, I have not found an in-game explanation of Rage, but I think I figured out what it does, and I'll get to that in a moment. So, you're in the game, everyone's been living in this town for a while and just kind of dealing. Like, the currency that everyone usually goes by is cigarettes, that they trade for whatever. You find one guy who will trade you for keys and stuff, but basically you've dreamt of you call him the Dismal Man. He's this guy in a suit with a cane that just kind of appears to you once in a while, and you're not sure if he's really real or not. But the game starts with you seeing him at this archway, and if you go to that archway, you will find a key type deal. So the way the game operates a lot is very much like a Fallout 1 or 2 dialogue system. You have a ton of skills like Speechcraft, Investigate, occult that all give you different dialogue options, and it doesn't show you what those dialogue options are if you don't have the skill.
Oh, okay.
But like my guy has some points in psychology, so like there's this guy playing darts at the bar who really is like, I'm a dart championship, you can't beat me. And so I just psychoanalyzed him. I'm like, you're just doing this dart thing because you feel really insecure about us being in this hellish landscape thing or something like that. And then he goes crazy and runs out and drops something, and I get an item from it, type of thing.
Oh, okay.
So where rage plays in is the greater your rage meter, the more likely it is one of your dialogue options, like it shows up as normal text until you mouse over it, and it turns into this giant red text where your character basically screams something crazy at the whoever you're talking to.
Okay.
Which is kind of fun and kind of not, and like my rage leveled up, I guess, and I wasn't sure what would happen then either, but it turns out that's bad because it gave me like, it's like basically pick a debility.
Oh, okay.
And gave me 6 options, and I still don't know if that'll, I assume that just gets worse and worse as the game goes or something. I don't know. I've been in a constant state of, should I start this over now that I know more? Should I keep pushing on?
Right.
Combat is very seldom in the game. It doesn't happen a whole lot. When it does, like your occultist stuff gives you spells. You have like firearms and stuff you shoot. It takes place on a tactics grid, and you also have a sanity stat you're measuring. So like if you cast certain occultist spells, like all the enemies will lose sanity points, and if they lose all their sanity, they might run away.
Interesting.
I also think, although I can't really confirm, like at the beginning of the game when you start out in the town, it just looks like a hellish landscape. But I've noticed as like I've lost sanity points, it seems like I'm seeing like these weird monster things around houses and in different places.
Like out of the corner of your eye.
Yeah. Where there'll be like people standing around with like animal heads or something, and I can't talk or interact with them, so I'm not sure how much worse that gets.
Right.
Very, very eldritch horror sort of game.
100%. I mean, I found a Cthulhu statue already. Like,
oh, wow. Yes. So, yeah.
It is, someone made a makeshift Cthulhu statue in the city, and I found like a little miniature one, and like I'm not really clear what I'm supposed to be doing in the game. I've just been kind of wandering around, and like an event will take place, and then I'll take some notes on it and then wander around more till I can figure out how to progress something else. I got a mission to leave town and go to this distillery, and I did that, and that distillery was owned by the mob, and then they didn't even like me showing up to it. So then I was fighting like 12 mob guys and died. So I kind of reloaded it and just stayed in town. I think I like this game a lot, but I might not, and I don't know.
It sounds like it hasn't given you enough direction for you to know like where the game overall is really going.
Yeah, like my assumption is the eventual goal is to get out of this dimension, you know.
Right.
And ideally take the town with me. But I don't know that for a fact. I feel like a lot of the detective clues they give me are dead ends. Or just, here's a scrap till you do something else or run into a certain random event for something else to happen. Like, I really like the vibe of the game. I really like all the conversation options. I think those are a lot of fun. The combat is kind of so-so. Like, my character really sucks in combat compared to my associates, which is another thing that makes me think I need to start over, since I was kind of diversifying my points, and I'm thinking maybe I should have just started by just concentrating on 1 or 2 items.
Right.
It doesn't have a manual save system that I can find. Like you have save and quit, and you have a quit button, which is kind of upsetting. Like, just make it only save and quit, because like I lost a little bit of progress that way, and like it auto saves a bunch, but you can't manually tell it to save, so it's not like you can experiment with options or something necessarily on the fly.
Right, like they're trying to prevent save scumming, but in a way that maybe isn't that fun.
Yeah, and I can't decide if that's good or bad. It's
right.
I don't know.
Kind of both.
It's a mix of a lot of things.
Yeah.
I like a lot what it's slinging. It's probably one of those games that I need to play another couple hours in, start a new game now that I know what I'm doing, and then play through it.
Right.
And I don't, they try to explain bits of the system in the game, but their UI, I think, could have probably used a few more months of polish, honestly. But at the same time, you're an indie team overseas, like you have a X amount of time to work on something. So, like, at some point they had to draw a line in the sand, I'm sure.
Right, and you have a fixed budget because of Kickstarter, so you can't really go wild.
Yeah, but it's, I don't know, like, if you like the whole conversation system of Fallout 1 and 2, and you like Cthulhu horror stuff, I think this game's probably up your alley. You just got to go into it realizing that it's going to be a little janky here and there.
Yeah.
It's like I had one moment where I'm like, I have no idea what I'm supposed to be doing here, and I exited the game, and then next day came back and reloaded it, and it turned out the reason I couldn't finish this one quest is because this event wasn't happening that was supposed to happen, and it happened once I reloaded the game. So it's, I don't know what caused that. I also don't like that the characters get tired, like if you don't sleep, which gives you negatives to your reaction. And so far, it only seems to be affecting the main character, which is upsetting. Means just my B guys are the ones slinging everything. But
this game is like the deeper you get into this game, it very much is like 6 of one, half dozen of the other. It's like it's half good, and it's half not great, but not in a way that it seems like you can say, like, avoid this game, don't play it. It's just sort of like, it's a good game that has a lot of good ideas, but, the execution isn't 100% there.
Yeah, I agree with that completely. And that's probably to be expected from an indie
definitely.
Team. So I have no idea what other games they did. I haven't researched them at all. It was just one of those $15 gamble things. I don't mind gambling $15.
Cool Kickstarter videos go a long way.
Yeah. Let's see. I also been playing a non-RPG, Daemon X Machina. And I'm going to talk about it because it is anime AF, and I don't have another podcast to talk about it on. So this is the Nintendo Switch mecha game. Mm-hmm. This is by, what do you think? It's not by From Software, but I guess some of the developers who worked there when they did the Armored Core games developed this one. So this game is incredibly stylish and mostly a lot of fun, but also another mixed bag, honestly.
Oh, okay.
It's like, gosh, I guess just for starters, the when you start the game, it is one of the coolest like start splash screens I've seen, and that they just have like this Daemon, like it's just a pure red background with a Daemon X Machina symbol. But it's kind of see-through, and they have video playing in back of the symbol, so it's just a really cool, neat effect.
Yeah.
Looking at a lot of Gundams.
Yes.
Yeah.
This game is 100% for Gundam type fans, I think.
Yeah.
It's a lot of, like, the gameplay flow is accept a mission, endure like really over the top extreme anime personalities. Like I keep thinking they're going to introduce like a normal side character, and they never do. All of them are yelling about whatever like very limited world philosophy they subscribe to, and
yelling about the federated governments.
It's nuts. It is so.
Yeah.
You have this one character named Savior who is like into poetry and stuff, and that's all he talks about, and he won't go into the battlefield unless X, Y, and Z happens when he joins a mission, and
that's real good.
I can't remember the other, like all of them are ridiculous, absolutely like that level of ridiculous. So you got to ask yourself if you find that amusing or annoying before you walk into this.
Right, how much anime can you put up with?
Yeah. The gameplay itself is you're put into this giant environment and, given a mission to probably destroy something. They also have escort and defense missions, which I just recently discovered, which have halted my progress on the game momentarily. But a lot of it is as you destroy mechs in the battlefield, you want to loot them so you can get new mech parts. And you can take them back to the factory and use those to either develop, like research and development, or just straight up put them on your mech. You can also equip like mech weapons in the field too when you're there, which is it makes like defeating a mech a lot of fun, especially since you don't get any of that stuff unless you do it during the mission. So you're trying to kill the mech, loot its corpse, and not fail whatever the mission objective is.
Right. That's cool.
The story is kind of, I don't know, like, I guess, okay, so every Gundam anime, well, probably every Gundam anime, there's a lot of them. Like,
that's true.
At some point in the story, the space colonies want to drop a meteor on Earth. Like,
okay.
It's probably because they don't want Earth to rule them. It might be other reasons. Where this game starts is that has already happened. Someone has already dropped a meteor on Earth.
Okay.
Half of Earth is mostly destroyed. And instead of a space colonies, they have AI who's rebelling, and that's the enemy faction.
Okay.
So on top of that, your mission delegator is an AI, so I'm not really clear where they put that line of these AIs are good and these ones are bad.
Sure.
They're on my side.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, if we learn anything from Nier Automata, it's the one with the red eyes are bad.
Yes. Everything's red in this game, though.
Oh, there you go.
It probably didn't help that I went into it with the Gundam attitude of I'm going to make my guy Char the Red Comet. And
yeah, exactly.
Always pilots are... Anyway. For the most part, I like this game. I was really in love with the game until I had to do a defense mission, which was a living nightmare. It's very hard to aim in the game, and you can run out of ammo, and maybe I'm probably just bad at the game. I'm coming to terms that I'm just not very good at a lot of games that people think are easy. So that's probably just part of it. But like the first defense mission was you're supposed to protect this building, and I think I skated by with like building at like 40% health or something left, like after my fifth or sixth try. And then they gave me a free mission where I had to escort a car that I myself can destroy just by accidentally stepping on it. Like,
great. That's fun.
In that mission, I got to, like, I was within, I can't remember if it was timed or what, but I was basically at the very end, and then the car got destroyed. I'm like, well, you know what? I'm going to try and play something else for a bit.
Quick game. All right.
And that's when I discovered Switch was having a sale on Final Fantasy VII, and I thought, you know what? Let's do this. I haven't played this in a long time.
Oh, boy.
So, and it's also interesting going in with, like, the remake in the back of my mind happening next year. So I'm just out of Midgar right now. I just got to Fort Condor. And kind of my takeaways are, why did we ever think it was cool that they had that many mini games that were that bad in this game?
Okay,
there's so many of them.
Can I just say, like, so for me, like, I went into Final Fantasy VII much, much later than when it originally released. So when I went into it kind of like without any, I didn't have any rose-colored glasses. So everyone always talked up 7. Like, they was like, this is the best Final Fantasy. It is the epitome of Final Fantasy. This is the best one. All the other ones suck compared to this one. This one's the only one. So I went into it, and, like, I was so exhausted by these minigames. And I was telling someone, I was like, there's, like, a minigame, like, literally within every hour, you have a minigame being thrown at you, if not 2. And someone was like, oh, there's not that many. And I'm like, listen to the person who's playing it right now.
Yeah, there's a lot.
A lot of mini games. It is exhaustive how many.
By the time you get to the squatting mini game, you're like, please, I just want to get out of Midgar. Please.
I just wanted to continue the story, but it's like you get halted by mini games, and I'm just like, I just want to, like, can I skip this and go to the story?
Right.
Yeah, and so on top of this, like, I haven't played this in 20 years. They have that ×3 speed thing, and like this isn't technically called a minigame because it happens immediately. I'm pretty sure the first time I played it through, it didn't happen. But literally, I was stuck on this for 20 minutes because I couldn't figure out what the heck to do. You're in Eris's house. You're supposed to sneak out. And every time I tried, I creaked a board. I'm like, is there a path here? Is there a... Oh, no, I need to just not be using the analog stick is what I found out.
To, slowly tiptoe walk.
Yeah, you just inch along.
Honestly, all I had to do was use the D-pad, and he just walks.
Oh, because the analog just auto runs?
Yes. And you walk out of there. It was...
When Final Fantasy VII came out, we didn't have analog controllers. So you had to hold down a button to run. So it was way easier. It's like, just use the D-pad, but don't run, and you'll sneak out. But nowadays, it's like, well, I can't... What am I doing?
I think I had that problem too. I think that happened on... I think that's on the PC as well, and I had that problem. And I think someone must... Because I did that on stream, and I think someone told me the answer to that while I was going what am I doing wrong? Right. And they're like, use the D-pad. And I was like, okay.
I had to dig around in freaking forums. One guy was like, hug the stairwell. I'm like, that isn't working, dude.
I'm still running.
Man.
So, the other thing I've realized is I have no idea how they are going to give a satisfactory story to the remake if they're ending when you get at the end of Midgar, because
as soon as you get to Calm, that's when they start getting into the background of who Cloud thinks he is and who Cloud thinks Sephiroth is. So without all that, I know they're going to be adding a ton of story in the first part of the remake, but they better add a lot.
I have the only way that's going to be satisfactory is if they add a ton of story for you to really dig into, so that way that ending isn't just kind of well, see you in 2-3 years.
Right, you're standing on that little overhang off of Midgar after the motorcycle thing, and that's just well, let's go, credits.
To be clear, the only thing you accomplish at the end of Midgar is you've broken Eris out. That is it.
That's true.
Nothing, everything else
and
that
you really
happens
piss off
there,
Shinra.
Yes, you make Shinra upset, and you discover Sephiroth exists. They probably talked about him at some point earlier, but it's... I don't know. I feel like there's... I really hope they don't do the mini games in the remake. I think that play.
They've already shown the crunch one.
Yep.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
No, I'm hoping that the mini games are put off to the side a little more or less required is what I'm hoping for.
Right.
Just make it... You can have them exist. They can have the little quest marker above their heads or whatever we want to call it, and then be hey, you want to do this mini? It's right there, but don't make it so story integral that it literally detracts from the story. The pacing gets stopped so many times by those mini games.
Or just make them stupid easy.
I don't know.
And I haven't...
So...
I've kept myself from looking it up, but I remember just... From when I originally played it, a lot of those mini games, they don't take place near save points. If you don't get the best version of them, you miss out on a really cool item.
Yeah, that's the era. Yeah,
some of those items, I think the Apocalypse Sword, I think you get from the marching thing that I'm about to have to do on.
God, I hate that thing.
June.
You never get that one right.
Thing. I hated that one, and I did that on stream, and I can't. I remember just being so frustrated. I was forget it. Whatever this is, forget it.
Yeah.
I know you get
I don't care.
I know it's out of 100 points. I always get 15. I cannot do that.
I'm already so where I saved off today at Fort Condor. I didn't even remember Fort Condor existed, and I get there and they're like, "We need you to donate a bunch of money."
What is Fort Condor again?
The one with the giant chocobo egg at the top? You have that real-time strategy game where they march down the hill. And you're placing defense units.
You remember it. I am so worried. I do not want to play this. I already know this is going to be a nightmare.
Yeah, you can save it for... I would recommend saving it for way later, because I think there's something about it where it's too hard to do right now, if I remember correctly. like either you don't have enough money or it depends on your level or something. But I always skip it and just save it for way later.
I remember the Final Fantasy VI thing that sounds sort of like that at the very beginning of the game.
Yeah, that cave.
Yeah, the cave with the Moogles.
Yep, it's pretty similar, yeah.
Well, and the benefit
where I unequipped all the Moogles.
Yeah.
Just like take all their gear.
Yep.
The benefit of this version is the ×3 movement and the autofill limit break.
Yeah.
Which are freaking amazing. Like, anytime I run into a battle that is even like the least bit hard that I don't want to grind for, I just click the right stick in and just spam limit breaks.
Well, and does this version also have the unlimited XP and gil? Some of the other versions
that's on the
did.
PC. I know that's on the PC where you can like just basically turn on God mode where everything.
Yeah, you're temporarily level 99.
I don't think it told me that. That'd be cool.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm not sure which version has which because I think the PS4 and PC versions did, but I don't remember if they carried that over to Switch.
I know they have a the turn off random encounters thing, which is
nice.
Gosh, that's
they
wonderful.
Added that?
That's great.
It's awesome. It is. I'm in a dungeon. I'm tired of grinding. Turn this on. I'm gonna go get all the items and leave.
Yeah, like I just want to finish the dungeon.
Or even like, so all the backgrounds in the original game, like they are done in such a way that when you see like that junkyard in Midgar that you have to go through, like they have this pipe, and I cannot look at that and visually tell whether that pipe is leaning up, like towards the right or the left. And so it's a bunch of trial and error of which way am I supposed to get on this pipe and go down from.
Right.
And there's a lot of objects in the environment that I just have a hard time distinguishing, like, where does this take place on like the Z plane?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that was always a problem with that game.
Yeah.
I also always hated the loading zones where you go left into the loading zone and then you end up on like the right side of the screen. Yep. And I there's
bouncing
one
between
place
screens.
Where I remembered I bounced between the screen for like 5 times because like my brain was like, okay, just remember to switch, and then like, you know, the loading takes long enough that my brain has already been like, I've forgotten what you were talking about. What? Right. And I zone back and I'm like, I'm so mad.
There's a ladder in
Who designed that?
There's a ladder in Fort Condor that does that crap. You click the button to get on the ladder, push down, and then, oh, wait, I already went back because I didn't let up on the stick.
That won't happen in the remake.
Well, probably not, yeah.
the world won't be like that in the remake, so I don't have to worry about that.
I mean, if they're promising us 60 hours in Midgar, like, I pray to God they added story stuff and it's not just like some weird challenge mode crap, but
yeah.
Man, another place where they had that problem with the loading screen stuff is the little chocobo farm you get where they give you the chocobo lure materia. Mm-hmm. You walk in, and to get to the buildings, you have to pass by the big chocobo yard, which takes up about 80% of the screen. And you can exit the screen on the bottom or the left side of the screen. So you have to like carefully go by to get to the rest of the...
Yeah, it brings you to the overworld, right?
Yeah.
So like, yeah, it's just, yeah.
It's
rough.
They did some like, I was probably 2 or 3 years late to the game. Like, it came out, I think, in 97 or something like that. I think I played it in 99 or 98 or something. I played it on PC, too.
Yeah, because it came out a couple years ago. Years after that on PC, it had that almost triangle box with, like, the top cut off of it. It was a cool box.
I regret throwing that box away. That was an awesome box.
Me too.
God, that was a good era of PC boxes. Like, they all went freaking nuts with... Anyway.
Our box doesn't even look like a tombstone. It's like, okay, cool. Sure, I'll buy that.
I will say, like, and I don't know if this is me... Well, this is definitely not me objectively speaking, but the menu music Final Fantasy traditional song that plays for 7 is my favorite version of that song. And it's probably...
Oh, the prelude? Yeah.
It's probably just because I spent so much time with that game in high school, but it just hits my brain and emotions right, I guess.
Yeah, it's really good.
But Anyway, I'll quit blabbing about that. That is all I've been playing.
All right, Mina, how about you?
Well, let's talk about Final Fantasy 15, I guess, first, since we're already talking about Final Fantasy.
There you go.
So, let me pull up my notes. So, in 15, I played this at launch, but I didn't beat it, and I honestly, I've forgotten everything about this game. There are things that are happening in this game that I don't remember seeing. When first, I don't know. Maybe they like inserted some stuff? I don't know.
I mean, they've been patching that game and adding content over like the last couple of years, so it's pretty possible, yeah.
Okay, so things are different-ish, or maybe I just wasn't paying attention the first time around. It could be either way.
Yeah.
So let's see. One thing is I unlocked the monster truck of the car. Like I don't know what to call it. It's the monster truck car now.
Okay.
So like it can go off road, and it just looks like something that needs to be at a monster truck rally. It looks ridiculous. I've done a lot of hunts, and one thing that I didn't realize when I was doing these hunts are like sometimes you go to a place where you get the hunts for like a tipster or whatever they're called, and they'll be like, oh, we only have 3 hunts available, and it's like, oh, okay, so you do the 3 hunts, and you're like, okay, so this place, no more hunts in this location, I'm good. You go to someplace else. Well, I came back later, and it's like suddenly they have like 7 more hunts on this list, and I'm like, you guys, listen, why did you
Can someone send me a text, maybe?
So now I have to keep revisiting all the places I've already been. I have played a good portion of the game. I'm up to the part where I need to get on a boat to Altissia to go see my fiance or Luna Freya or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like almost level 70.
Oh, wow.
Because I've been doing hunts and hunts and hunts and hunts. Like, anytime I stop at a location, I'm like, oh, we're having some hunts. I'm just going to plop
do a couple of those.
Do a couple of those and
yeah.
do some of that. And I don't know. Like, someone told me that the story is actually very short. Like, the game is, like, got a really short story, but there's, like, a ton of side quests, and basically.
Yeah.
So, I think it's called Chapter 8 or whatever I'm on. But, like, the chapters went from, like 1 and 2 or 3 or whatever. It took, like, so long, and then suddenly it was, like, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I don't know how to describe it. It's just, like, it just jumped all these chapters. And I kind of feel like the story tends to, kind of jump. I don't know if that's me, where the story just kind of, it's like it was going one way, and then suddenly, well, we're going to do this for a little bit, and you do a bunch of...
I have heard that, like, yeah.
What, like, you really yanked me out of whatever we were doing. Like, I thought we were going on this grand journey to collect the 13 weapons or whatever, and now it's like, no, we need to do primals.
No,
then, like,
right.
I do, like, 2 primals, and I'm assuming that there's 6 based on the story, and it's just kind of like, well, no more primals. We got
something else to do.
I'm like, okay. All right. So
are you playing this on PC?
Yes.
Okay. I kept trying to play this on PS4, and I have a PS4 Pro, and there's like a frame rate issue where no matter what I pick, like the performance, it will largely be 60 and sometimes be like 40 or 50, which sort of makes me a little nauseous. So I picked the resolution one, which is largely 30, until sometimes it's 20, which makes me nauseous. It's sort of like, I just need to pick this up on PC and just play through it there.
Like, I would say that it's fine on PC. The only thing that happens is, like, it sometimes hitches. Like, it hitches really bad. Like, you'll be running and all of a sudden, like, everything freezes for, like, about 3 seconds, and it's like movement again. And
okay. I can deal with that. I just can't deal with, like, when frame rates are bouncing all over the place. Like, it makes me nauseous. There's something about it.
Yeah.
What video card do you have?
It's an NVIDIA. I don't know which one.
Okay.
I can look it up for you later. But it seems fine. But then again, I've turned off, like, a lot of the settings because I'm streaming it on Twitch. Like,
right.
I've dropped all the settings as low as it can go.
Yeah, because you don't need it to be 4K HDR.
I don't need that. That'll hurt my computer while trying to stream. But
So I do want to say I agree with you on the story jumping. About halfway through when you were talking, for some reason in my brain I heard Final Fantasy 14, and I'm like, I have no idea what the story does in Final Fantasy 14, but it 100%
no.
You reach a point and they show this big cinematic, and the cinematic is like the movie. The movie that...
What is going on? Okay, there's random cinematics, like, thrown all over the place in here. I don't remember these random cinematics everywhere. And why is everything so, like it's, like, orchestral? And you would think that there would be, like, sounds of, like, gunfire shots or, like, people talking, because you see their mouths moving, and it's, like... I had to look at my settings, and I was like, did I somehow turn off, like, cutscene audio or something? Like, why is it...
It just turned into one of those mob movies where it's, like, an opera song and gunfights.
Yeah. And then, like, you see, like, Gundams flying in and stuff, and I'm like, what is going on?
That is the movie sequence. To understand any of that, you have to go watch the movie.
Okay.
Which, honestly, there's not much, like, in terms... I mean, it's an okay movie. It's not terrible. It's not great. It is what it is.
But I'm playing this game right now. I don't want to stop and watch a movie.
Right.
Well, and the movie is nothing like, it's not going to spoil anything about the game. It's just going to tell you what the heck the freaking CGI
stuff.
Scene was. Like, well, it's weird because you play like 4 hours of the game, and then the event that the movie takes place in happens, and then you play the rest of the game. So, like. The movie has some prequel stuff on it that I thought would have more impact on the game story, but it turned out it had no impact at all. Like,
oh, Square.
It's just weird. Like, I don't remember any of the characters' names, but like some of them you see in a flashback in the movie and you think, oh, they're gonna use that in the game, and they don't. They never touch on it. That character is completely insignificant. You think that character is gonna be meaningful, and it's not. But
jeez.
Also, the damn Imperials coming after me constantly. Like, this is like, I got so frustrated at one point. I was in the middle of like doing a hunt or whatever. I had a hunt that I had to go to. On the way to a hunt, this Imperial drop ship thing like flies overhead, drops, their stormtroopers on me, and I fight the stormtroopers, and I'm like, okay, now I can go do this hunt. So I go into the hunt, and this hunt is actually quite a little bit above my level, but it's like, I can handle it. It's going to be a difficult, fun fight, I'm having a fun time doing this, and then it's like, Imperials overhead, and more of them drop in on me, and they drop like, assassin, Imperials, Gundam-looking Imperials, and they're just like... So, like, I'm trying to fight them along with these really difficult hunt monsters at the same time. I'm juggling both. And I'm like, okay, so I need to take out, like, I take out their, like, snipers, because the snipers are just super annoying when you're trying to do anything else. So I'm, like, warp striking around, getting rid of all the snipers. And, I take care of everything. And, like, I'm just, like, barely wrapping up, like, the end of the hunt. Like, there's, like, probably one monster left that I'm trying to take out. And it's like, Imperials overhead. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Please.
I just want to finish this. And like at that point, I was like, "Are your ancestors smiling at you, Imperials?"
Right.
Like, because I know mine are. But I was so mad. I was like, Jesus, are you kidding me? So I finally like finish them off and I get out of there. But I was like, so like, and like it's constant. The Imperials are constantly coming after me. I can't walk 2 minutes without somebody dropping ship over my head. And I'm like, we need to burn all of our clothes. Like, get our clothes, burn it all. Burn all of our belongings.
Change our names.
We are being tracked. Because I could be anywhere at any time of the day or night. I at least understand at night because I've got like flashlights, we're walking around in an empty landscape, flashlights beaming off of us. They could probably, scout us up from above. But like in the daytime, I could be anywhere and they just like, they're following me. And I'm like, enough. So, so I found some really cool weapons and stuff. I got what someone told me was basically the strongest sword in the game fairly early, like chapter 4 or 5. They're like, yeah, that's the strongest weapon you're going to be using for the rest of the game. I was like, really, already?
Well, that's great.
And I'm like, okay then. I also found this sniper gun, which I've been having a... Okay, so this kind of cheeses the whole thing. I'm not gonna lie. Like, the sniper gun is kind of cheesy, because if you stand, like, far enough away from an enemy, you can just, like, sit there and, like, snipe, and this sniping gun has, like a high chance of breaking appendages or whatever. So I just stand off in a corner, and I could just snipe something over and over and over and break its legs or whatever while I just stand there, and everybody else goes to town on it while I'm standing off in the corner. The only thing that doesn't work on is like anything that wants to like rush you, and then that's not a fun time. But anything that's like, you know, easily distracted by anything else, or isn't going to charge you, or has to lumber over to you, you can kind of wreck it. There was like some sort of monster I was trying to fight that was like probably 15 or 20 levels above me, and I probably could not have stepped to that, but I stood off into a corner and I just fired my sniper gun over and over and over, and pretty much did not do anything besides that. And I got like A+ ratings on like all the things, like A+, good job. And I was like, I don't know if I should be awarded for.
Right. I mean, so I'll take it, but.
And so, but yeah, so I've been playing 15 a lot. I'm going to try and beat that as quickly as possible. And then now we need to talk about the game that I've been looking forward to talking about like for a month plus now. Mm-hmm. It is called Zanki Zero. And I have to say that very carefully. Zanki Zero. This game was given to me by a fan named Miracle Kuma, who knows that I like Danganronpa. Miracle Kuma, yeah, right?
Yep.
So, let me first describe what Zanki Zero is. It is a dungeon crawler survival thriller mystery story base building with roguelike elements with a darker but Danganronpa feel to it. Mature audiences only, and I underline that.
Okay, so it's got everything, but you have to be of a mature audience.
Please. If you, like, imagine if Danganronpa went a couple steps darker and a couple steps like really like it's going to have some pretty repulsive themes inside this game, and if you can't handle that, like, you probably shouldn't. Like, this is what I would call my line in the sand. Like, this game is like right there at the line. Like, if it wanted to like show any more, I would be so disgusted by this game I would not be able to play it. Like, that it would be actually upsetting. But like, it's right there. So it's at the point where I can watch it. It's at the point that probably Twitch would not, shut down my channel for like streaming it. Like,
but it's getting there.
It's right there. Like, if they wanted to animate something, that would be banned on Twitch.
Gotcha.
So, and I said a lot of like words there to describe this game. If you're curious about it at all, I know that the prologue of the game is available as a demo on the PS4. I don't know. I don't think it's on the PC, or maybe, I don't know. I don't know where else you can find that demo, or you could just watch my stream of it or whatever. I love this game quite a bit.
You've been sending messages to Musum and I like, oh, Zanki Zero is so good.
It is ridiculously good, and I'm so sad that probably so many people will not play it. So it's got themes of like suicide, assault. And all of the characters. Okay, so I'll only talk about things that happen in basically prologue and chapter 1, really. So like, all of the characters are based on the 7 deadly sins plus original sin. So you have 8 characters, 4 guys, 4 girls. And when you start playing the game, you start as this character named Haruto. And at the very beginning of the game, you watch this scene of him, like, basically looking out at a cityscape, and he says something along the lines of, like, out there, all those lights represent, like, different families, you know, sitting at home together or whatever, and tonight I snuffed out one of those lights. And then you see him step on the ledge of a building, and he basically comments on how, like, why is it still so pretty out? And then, like, basically jumps off the building, and you watch the ground come fast, and then it, like, dumps you into the game proper, kind of. So that's how you start the game.
Right.
And you wake up on a beach as Haruto on the beach. So the guy who jumped off the building is now on the beach of somewhere, and he's woken up by this other character who then kind of corrals you to go meet the other characters. So then you have, like, you gain the entire party basically right then and there, the introductions, and you really get to know that all of these people are pretty weird, like Danganronpa weird.
Right.
You know what that means. Like, they're all so off and so wacky and so goofy. You can't help but just kind of, like, I don't know, like them, or you have to like Danganronpa if you like this. So that's the only way.
Yeah.
So the whole survival thing, you have to, like, maintain their hunger, their stress, bladder, smells or whatever. And there's, like, different difficulty settings from anywhere between difficulty 1 to, I think, like, 5 or 6. I don't remember if it goes higher than that. But, like, on difficulty 1 is basically what I would call, like, if you played Persona Q, putting it on safety and just being like, whatever, I'm going to enjoy the story. Nothing can touch me. Right. So
you don't have to worry about the systems, really.
Yeah. All the systems are ignored pretty much after that. Like, food is whatever, stress is whatever, bladders whatever, smells whatever. Like, all that's just, who cares? And the enemies on the field become super easier. But also, like, the drops or whatever are kind of, like, diminished to really low quality stuff. Which,
gotcha.
I mean, if you're playing that difficulty already, you don't need those drops so desperately. Like,
right, because the difficulty doesn't matter as much.
Right. So you don't really need food supplies. You don't really need to, like, harder equipment to, like, you know, beat stuff. So it's kind of like, yeah, it's balanced that way. So, like, the first... Oh, there's also, like... So this is where, like, you'll get some strong Danganronpa vibes. There's this TV that basically turns on whenever they complete a mission with these two cartoon characters that are like, okay, gang, you need to go do blah now. And
interesting.
Survive.
Yeah.
So it's
that sounds familiar,
like, right? So, like, your first mission is to build a toilet. So you go and build a toilet, and it's like, okay, good job, guys, you built the toilet, good job. Okay, the next mission is we're going to make a clone, you guys. We're going to make a clone. But first, someone needs to die. Yeah, you need to kill one person at least.
This sounds like a combination of the Zero Escape stuff and Danganronpa.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good way of putting it.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, we got to kill someone. And I was like, I don't want to kill anybody. And it seems like the group is pretty aligned with that. Like, they all were like, yeah, screw this. We're not going to do this anymore. Like, who cares? We're not going to follow that stupid... because we're on an island. I guess I didn't explain that. We're on a deserted island, and there's no way off. And so we end up exploring after that, because we're just like, well, who cares about that stupid mission to, like, kill somebody? We're not going to do that. We're just going to go and look for a way off this island. And then, then you go and try to get off the island, and stuff happens. Like, it's very much got, like, a thriller mystery sort of feel to it. Initially I thought, like, oh, this is, you know, pretty... This is like, it felt almost like, okay, this is what Danganronpa 2 would have been if it wasn't like, you know, with the killing game. And then, like, it gets to this part, and I'm like, oh, okay, now this is basically Danganronpa 2, except a little different. And then you play further and you're like, okay, this is even more messed up than Danganronpa 2 ever could have been. And then you get to the next chapter and you're like, this is 1,000 times worse than what. So it's really, I enjoyed it. I'm on. So all of the chapters are named after like each of the deadly sins. Oh, and the main character changes with each chapter. So like chapter 1 you played as Haruto, and then chapter 2 you played as a different character.
Oh, cool.
And then so you go down all the deadly sins, and I am on. I don't remember what this guy's deadly sin is. Was it the one before it was gluttony? I don't remember this one. Anyways, and oh my gosh, you think that like the whole escalating creepiness would not continue the whole way through, but it managed to continuously escalate things for me. Like it went from like, okay, this is disturbing, to like, I'm super creeped out and horrified, to I'm actually legitimately scared and screaming as I'm running down hallways, like trying to get out. Like I haven't been this freaked out in a game in a long time. And gosh, man, when you get used to like being out in daylight areas and suddenly they put you in a dark basement area and you're just like, there's no light switches and you're going down hallways. It's like, no. And there's sounds.
Oh.
And I'm actually terrified of a nursery rhyme song now, because whenever it pops up, like I start getting chills just thinking about it. Like I'm getting goosebumps. This game scares me, but I need to finish it. I actually dropped the difficulty because I brought the difficulty up to 3, and then I dropped it back down to 2 because I really want to beat this game so that way I can play a different game that I thought I was going to play until someone donated Zanki Zero to me. I really want to play this game.
Oh yeah, AI, the Selenium Files, it's called, I think. Yeah. The game that's made by the Danganronpa and the 999 game guy. Yeah. So the super group. Right? I want to play it so bad, but it's like I gotta beat Zanki Zero first before we get to that. Yeah, you don't want to mix and match.
No, not this. Like Zanki Zero deserves to be played through right now. Yeah. So I probably won't talk more about it because I feel like it's so good that I feel bad if I talked about it any more than that. You
went into it blind, right?
I went into it blind, so I had no idea what was going on. So we don't really want to
spoil that same experience for people.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, I just basically said stuff that happened in prologue and chapter 1, and
like this stuff you can play in the demo, like yeah.
It's a good game, but yet again, kind of like a trigger warning / mature audience. Like,
right.
Expect disturbing things, and then they'll be fine. And other than that, I played Epic 7 a lot.
Ditto.
I gotta talk about Epic 7. So I think one thing that I've been doing lately that I've been super excited about is I actually got a unit fully built and online now. And his name is General Purgus. And yes. I love this cat man so much. I've been basically farming for gear. Something that I tried to explain to someone about like what makes Epic 7 kind of different is like the gear is what really matters more than the units. And I kind of like said, if you think about it from like a Diablo point of view, where it's like you're really trying to roll for like better gear to like replace the gear you got. And then once you get like really good pieces of gear, you kind of just like, you can move that around different units. So I was really hunting for like this perfect set of gear for a General Purgus because I wanted to be able to farm Wyvern 11 really well, which is basically another way of farming more gear. And so what General Purgus does is whenever he is hit, he pushes his entire party turn forward. So since Wyvern targets the tank spot 3 times, that means he pushes everyone's turn 3 times forward.
Oh, wow.
So it's really great. And when you have a team that you just want to do full offense and no sort of like healing or defense, and you're just going to try and explode the boss as quickly as possible, General Purgus is the key. Though you need to have like good gear on him, and you need to have, you know, the good damage on your other units. So with that team, what Wyvern does after, I think it's like 4 or 5 turns, I don't remember, is he puts up a bubble that you then have to destroy the bubble on. I can now, if everything falls into perfect timing, I can kill Wyvern before he gets even his 3rd turn.
Oh,
so
wow.
He gets 2 turns and then he's dead.
Wow.
That's if the stars align. However, he has a 0% chance of ever getting that bubble up with my team, regardless,
nice.
Even if I have the worst RNG ever. Like, if everything goes wrong, I'm still going to kill him.
Wow.
Before the bubble. So this is
perfect farming team.
Right? It's fast. So now my Wyvern farming team is super, super fast. And this has been like a work in progress for like I don't want people to think like, oh, I just managed to knock this like out recently.
Oh, it's like months worth of work.
Right.
Yeah.
So I've been investing and working hard at this, and even now I can get better gear if I, work more towards it. But I've finally gotten it to a place now where it's like, yes, I can farm this really fast, and I'm excited because I really need a lot of speed gear for a lot of my units. And being able to farm a lot, especially during times of like bonus farming, like right now, being able to farm excessively during these periods is really helpful. So the other super exciting thing that happened on my main account, and I'm super excited about this, is I finally pulled off of a daily a Violet.
Oh, nice.
Right? I've pulled the thing. I wanted Violet since the day he was announced months and months and months ago. That has to have been like 6-7 months ago when he first released. And I blew every ticket and gem on him, and I didn't get it. Because back then we didn't have the 121 pity on regular banners.
Right, the guaranteed pull.
Right. Yeah. After Violet's banner was Bologna's banner, and I blew like anything I recouped from not getting Violet, I blew it all on Bologna, and I didn't get her either.
Oh, jeez.
This is like the sadness, but like I finally got Violet, and it's so exciting. I'm going to build him because Violet is one of the most cancerous things you can have on your defense in PvP. Period.
I get destroyed by him. Like every guild war, it's just like, oh, I didn't look at what units I'm fighting, and now I'm guaranteed going to lose. Yeah, so Violet is one of those units. Yeah.
He is, and the thing is like right now, the current meta, like, because we've had different metas crop up, and like the rise and fall of different metas. The one thing is right now, the meta is basically, if you're a high tier PvPer, you are likely winning almost every match, like, regardless of whatever defense you see. Like, It's just basically, you will always win. So the only way the people who are winning ever lose is if there is some sort of RNG element in the mix that prevents them from being able to win. So an example of an RNG would be Violet. Violet is a not even a high level player with like the best equipment and everything can say, I can always win against the Violet team, because he has that evasion chance on there that makes him a big question mark. So when it comes to like high level play, Violet is basically, the current meta defense unit. I'm super excited I got him. Oh my gosh. I'm so sick of Violets. I want to bring my own Violet to the Violet party.
Right, you want to have your revenge.
Right? I hate Violet so much. Him and, I mean, the thing is like, I know like Dizzy is probably hated by a lot of people who are not like far enough into the game, but there's so many counters to a Dizzy once you build them that she becomes much and much less of a problem. I actually like Dizzy sometimes in some of my matchups. Like, she actually helps me win. If you have an enemy Dizzy on your defense, it's like, cool. I'm gonna win because you have that there. But but Violet is just like, the answer is going to be, I will have my own Violet.
Right, I will have my revenge.
Right? So the other thing that I've been building that I just got done is I just got my Iseria to level 60. So now I have the Tamarin Iseria combo, the threat of the offensive threat to anyone who wants to stand in my way. So them together, they make an amazing combo.
So I have them too. I haven't built up Tamarin that much yet. But just like a couple weeks ago, I stuck Assyria in on a team with Dark Corvus. I was just doing random stuff. And I thought she just always reduced everyone's by 2. I didn't realize she just eliminated the entire weight.
Gone.
So.
Stupidly good.
Yeah.
So that's why she works really well with Tamarin in the PvP offense. Offense only. You don't do this on defense. Because you basically bring Tamarin to have her idle form immediately ready out of the gate, and which basically is like, get rid of everyone's debuffs, cure Tamarin to max HP, give everybody attack buffs, and then it's like basically you are a threat because you just literally can demolish the team out of nowhere, no matter what they did. Like if a Dizzy tried to come in and be like, take all of this, and then like Iseria's like, all right, reset that all to nothing. Right. And then you just turn around and destroy the enemy team. That's why the Tamarin Iseria team combo is so lethal. They're finally nerfing Corvus's S3. If there was another unit I hated on par or more than a Violet, it's Fire Corvus. Fire Corvus is toxic. And I hate it. Because once he gets his S3 going, you cannot stop him. He is an unkillable machine designed to just make you feel broken and quit out. So I'm so glad that's being nerfed. They're like buffing his S1 and S2 slightly to compensate for the fact that his S3 is going to be nerfed. I think a lot of people are going to recall their Fire Corvus because the only reason why they were using him is just because of that BS S3 that needed to be nerfed so badly.
Right.
And there's a couple of units they're on the docket for buffing. There's Tenebria that's going to be buffed, Kisei that's going to be buffed, a couple of the MLs that were kind of lackluster, like ROL, Elson, and one other that I can't remember is going to be buffed. And there's a couple of 4 stars that are going to be buffed as well. And most importantly for me, ML Says is going to be buffed.
Oh, okay.
Because I have him, and he's not bad. He's actually not a bad unit.
Is that the light version of him?
The light version, yeah.
Okay, I have that one too.
Well, you'll be excited that he's going to be buffed. I don't know what the buff is going to be, but the thing is like, he's not a bad unit, but he requires such a specific team to be good that it's kind of like, well, if you invest so much into these other units just to make him work, it's like, why not work on a unit that's really good by themselves instead of one that's highly dependent on the workings of others. And he contributes nothing really to the team besides good damage. So there's a lot of units that can do good damage, and they don't need a whole team to make it work.
Right.
So I'm pretty excited about an ML Says buff. I think he needs it, but they've also said that whatever future content they've been planning, they said that ML Says is actually really, really good for, so they're nervous about buffing him before that future content comes out.
That makes sense.
I'm curious what that is, because I like, ML says does well whenever you stun something. So I don't understand. I'm very confused and curious.
Yeah.
But other than that, I haven't been playing anything else. What about you, Boston?
I only played one RPG this month, and it's the one that just came out. So there's two versions of Destiny 2 that I want to talk about. I want to talk about New Light just a smidgen. Destiny 2 New Light is the free-to-play Destiny 2. And if you've ever wanted to try Destiny 2 before, it is genuinely free-to-play now. It contains the majority of stuff from the first 2 years of Destiny. The year 2 just finished. It contains everything in the base game and the first 2 expansions. And it contains a little bit of stuff from Forsaken, which was last year's big expansion, and a little bit of stuff from Shadowkeep that just came out. Like, you can't do missions on the moon, but you can go patrolling there and you can do some bounties and stuff. So if you've ever wanted to try Destiny 2, it's available for free on anything, and there's a ton of stuff in the base game that is genuinely free without any gotchas. I have been playing for the last couple days Shadowkeep, which just came out, the next big expansion. It's not the biggest expansion we've gotten. That really was Forsaken. It's smaller than that. We're back to the moon. Eris Morn, the spooky lady from Destiny 1, is back. She wants us to do spooky stuff with nightmares on the moon. I played the campaign with the Hannah, friend of the show and TVGP alumnus. It was a little bit shorter than I was expecting, but part of what Bungie is trying to do now with Destiny is, instead of having you play through a couple hours of story and then that's kind of it until the next year, they're extending the story week over week, sort of as the season goes on. So right now we're in season 8. Told a story, got a little bit of a cliffhanger ending that looks like whenever the first team finishes the raid, some other stuff will happen in the world, and sort of week over week we'll get some story expansion stuff. So as a result, there's not a lot new in Destiny 2 right now, but for example, they just released a new event called Vex Offensive today, which I played a little bit before the show. And that stuff will continue to evolve over the next 2 months, basically. So the core of Destiny 2, this stuff that's really great, hasn't really changed. They're just expanding it and evolving it over time. Destiny 2 feels like it's in the best place it's ever been right now, which is a really great reason to try it out and try out the free version if you'd like to do so. And I think Shadowkeep isn't revolutionary. It isn't like Forsaken, where it's like, all right, we're taking the fundamentals of this game and we're completely changing them. It's not doing that. They've changed how weapon mods work. They've changed how armor works completely. That's a little bit inside baseball. I don't want to get too much into how that's changing and why that's changing. But I just have to say that Destiny is in a really great place right now, and I think Shadowkeep feels really great, and the events feel really fun. And then on top of that, they're doing like a season pass, like Apex Legends has, and games like that. So they're sort of adding a bunch of stuff on top of it. So if you play week over week, then you'll have plenty of stuff to do. Or if you download Destiny 2 for free and you come back for the Halloween event that'll happen later this month, that's cool too. Like there's plenty enough stuff. If you're like me and it's your main game, there's a lot of stuff to do. If it's not your main game and you just check it out once a month, once a season for all the new stuff, that's cool too. There's still going to be plenty of stuff to do. So, Destiny 2, still 2 thumbs up. Get my thumbs on screen here. 2 thumbs up. Destiny 2 is great. Come play with me. I have it on every platform. Hit me up on Discord if you want to play. I will definitely play it with you. And join our guild. Join the guild E1M1. We'd love to have you. But that's all I've been playing this month because it's kind of not been a great month for scheduling. So let's dive into our releases for October 2019. Just realized I didn't put the dates on these, so if you're interested in any of them, go look at a storefront for dates. These are in chronological order. I just don't know when they're coming out. The Alliance Alive HD Remastered coming out on Switch and PS4. This is that 3DS game, Alliance Alive. They're remastering it and putting it out on Switch and PS4. I heard that game was really good, but I think it came out late enough on the 3DS's life cycle that there was no chance I was going to be picking it up. So, curious to see what that's all about. Indivisible comes out PC, PS4, and Xbox One. This is the RPG from the team that made Skullgirls. They kickstarted this a couple of years ago, and it's finally coming out. Everyone that has played that has really great things to say about it, so I'm pretty excited for that to come out here and look at reviews. Grandia HD Remaster coming out on PC. That was delayed a little bit because of some bugs. That's already out on Switch and PS4 and maybe Xbox One. It's out on a bunch of other platforms already. The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt Complete Edition comes out on the Switch. If you haven't played The Witcher 3 and if it runs well on Switch, you should play The Witcher 3 because it's really good. 2 thumbs up on The Witcher 3. I played a lot of that. Ring Fit Adventure comes out on the Switch. This is Nintendo announced that hula hoop thing, that that crazy ring that you squeeze and you bend and you stretch. And then they announced that they're going to come out with a game with it. And Ring Fit Adventure appears to be a really deep and really cool-looking RPG that you exercise your way through.
So weird.
Yeah, it's so weird. It seems really pretty cool. So I'm very excited to see reviews on that one. Legend of Heroes Trails of Cold Steel 3 comes out on the PS4 October 22nd. Thank you, Mina. This is the third. I don't think it's the final chapter in the Cold Steel series, but they're continuing to bring those guys out here on console. So I feel like we're deep enough into that series that you're gonna get it or not. The Outer Worlds comes out PC, PS4, and Xbox One on October 25th. This is Obsidian's new RPG. This is day and date on Game Pass on PC and Xbox One, which is where I will be playing it for sure, because $60 is a lot of money for a video game in 2019.
This is the entire reason I've been keeping my Game Pass, because I have barely played it, if I'm being honest, the last few months, and that is not an insult to Microsoft. That is just a reflection of my spare time.
Yeah.
And that I'm just playing games that aren't on it. But I am really excited for an Obsidian RPG in this style.
Yeah, I could tuck into an Obsidian RPG right about now. That sounds really great. Atelier Ryza Ever Darkness and the Secret Hideout comes out PC, Switch, and PS4. I keep meaning to check out one of these games, and I need to keep an eye on these ones to see if this is another good, as I know there's always like trilogies of games, and I'm not sure if this is another start of a trilogy, but I want to try one of these games out. I've been meaning to. I gotta see if this is a good starting point. Disgaea 4 Complete Plus comes out on Switch and PS4. I will not be picking this up because Disgaea games are intense, and I don't have that much time. Vampire comes out on the Switch. I enjoyed that on PS4 a lot, and I've been meaning to go back and finish that, but I don't have an abundance of free time, sadly. And last but not least, the HD remaster of Yakuza 4 comes out on PS4 October 29th. So pick that up. I think it's $20. It's a pretty good value.
Is it come out by itself? I thought that was going to be in a pack with 5, or isn't there like a 3-pack of them?
Yeah, 3, 4, and 5 are all coming out digitally separately. 3's already out, and 5's coming out late this year, early next year. And then the physical edition has 3, 4, and 5 in it on a disc.
Oh, okay.
So if you want to just buy them as they come out, you can, but they just came out digitally.
Okay.
But that's all of our releases for this month. We don't really have any news stories, so that's our episode for this month. Thank you for listening. You can visit us at pickingupthepixels.com. Everywhere follow us in the right-hand side of the page. Patreon.com/E1M1, the ones are numbers. Join at the $5 a month tier. That's just a month, not per episode. And you'll get all the cool behind-the-scenes and early access stuff. Patreon.com/E1M1. Musum, where can we find you online?
You can find the nexus of all my audio endeavors at jbaudio.net.
Mina, where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitch or on YouTube under Mina KO Rocket in Boston.
You can find me e1m1.com or my brand new website, if you love Destiny, destinyemblemcollector.com. And that's our episode. Thank you very much. We'll see you all next month.